Well, that's the thing about this series is we're going to put a spotlight on someone very special, and it's going to be amazing. And today is the very first episode. Hello, everybody. It's the bald guy in the red tie, John Butler, with a new series. And you're like, what? A new series? Yeah, a new series. You know what the series is called? It's called the Signature Studio Spotlight Series with Miss Susan Ebert.
Boom, chicka, bow, wow.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, John Butler.
You're one of the happiest people I know.
Drugs are the answer.
Oh, okay.
It's not true. I don't really do drugs. I only sell them. I don't sell drugs.
We're only 10 seconds into the episode.
And there's the line. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to.
Well, speaking of lines, we have lines of real estate agents that are lining up out of this brokerage looking to do something amazing. And I think we have someone very special that we're about to feature for the very first episode. Tell us all about her.
I am so excited about this, and I'm so excited to start doing this because I think it's going to give a platform to the people who deserve the attention that they so richly deserve. And so we have a group of people in the office that are dynamic. They're changing lives. They're changing the community. They're good looking. They're charming. They're easy on the eyes. Those aren't the important things. But I fondly really love this woman because she's an articulate professional. We fondly call her the enforcer. Ooh. And she will negotiate a contract like nobody's business. I trust her, and I want everybody to just follow her around and listen to all the conversations she has so that she can learn. One of my favorite people in the world, Miss Renee Keeling.
Oh,
yay! We need to get like an applause button.
Yay!
Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hi, good.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
You like the blue background?
I do like it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Just fits me perfectly.
All right, perfect. So, enforcer.
I know.
How did this happen?
I don't know. Susan
branded
came
you?
up with that, and I don't know how that came about. And enforcer, I would kind of like to know where the enforcer came from. I'm not really sure.
So walking down the hallway, it's always fun because they kind of banter back and forth in the hallway with lead generation, follow up. But then when there's a dynamic where we have to problem solve with another brokerage or another agent, I would say that her skill set is a 20 on a scale to 1 to 10.
Wow.
So I was walking by one day and I heard her on the phone, and I stopped and I backed up and I was like, arr! And I stopped outside the door and I listened, and I'm like, bam! And what she did was just tell the truth. And it was the conversation, the first one I heard you say was, well, how are you coming up with that price? It's never going to appraise for that. How in the world did you, I can't write an offer for that. How would we do that? And you were saying it to the other agent in an attempt for them to be reasonable. And then the next time I walked by, she was doing it again. The next time I walked by,
beating them
she was
up,
doing it again. And she never beat anyone up. She was just candid, direct, and professional. And so that's how I see you.
Oh.
I think it's one of your finest attributes besides the glasses and the eyelashes.
My husband says my filter's broken. Like that space between your brain when you think and then you speak, like mine's gone. And so.
I don't think so. You're really good and professional.
I think I'm nice.
Yeah, I do too. And I think you protect people's interest, and that's important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So how did you get into real estate? Like, did you have any of a background of being an enforcer? Or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I feel like I've always been a leader in every job I've ever had before, regardless what it was, if I was, 10 babysitting or, washing dishes, because then I'd wash dishes at night after my babysitting job. But I've always been a leader, and I've always taken every job I've ever had extremely seriously. And so I don't know how it actually came about, but.
Well, and she's not competitive at all. There's not a competitive bone in Renee Keeling's body. Is there, Renee?
Super competitive. It's bad. Like even family functions. I mean, I was like yelling at my father-in-law to eat this donut faster. And I'm like, Dawn Keeling, come on. And it's our family. We do Christmas Olympics and we do all these family fun games with kids of all ages.
Yeah.
Here my father-in-law is almost 80 years old and he's blindfolded trying to eat this donut. And I'm literally like panicking because we're not winning. And I'm yelling at him like, you're sabotaging the game. And then everybody's like,
It's just a game.
It doesn't matter what I do. I want to win.
Yeah.
And I won't even let my daughter win.
They have to earn it, right? I believe in that. Absolutely.
I grew up in Idaho, and I'd say I was always in sports. And I think it was like my junior year where the coaches started changing, where they're letting everybody play.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
Participation trophies.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
If you're not first, you're last. And
Yeah.
that's why I've always said that. It's not like, hurrah, you're second, you're third, you're fourth. No. I feel like that's a problem teaching our kids that. If you're not good, you don't play. Go to PE.
Drops the mic.
Go to PE.
So what kind of sports were you involved in?
I did track and baseball. There was only I came from a very small town. The population wasn't even 800. So to fill a team, sometimes we couldn't even go run track because we didn't have enough people on our team. But I did volleyball and basketball mostly. And I was scouted out my senior year for volleyball.
Nice.
But I didn't go to college.
No?
No. But I loved it and I was great at it.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. I mean, I feel like I envision how good I was and I'll try to go spike that ball and it's just not pretty.
Doesn't look good.
It does not look
No
good.
style points?
No. At almost 40 and my husband does not believe that I was ever athletic. He thinks it's just a big, huge lie.
Yeah.
If I should have saved those plaques. MVP.
That's right. Bam.
Yes.
So Idaho. So usually people are moving from California to Idaho, but you moved from Idaho to California. So when did this transition happen?
Right out of high school, my brother, my family always refers to us as gypsies. My grandfather, my grandma always kind of moved around from state to state because they worked for Kiewit Construction. They're a fairly large construction company. Anyway, so my brother was working on Dominigoni. So when they were just building and grading the ground for Dominigoni, I was just graduating high school and my brother was like, come to California. And so, of course, that sounds amazing. When you live in Idaho, it's such a small town. I grew up on a cattle ranch. And so I just thought oh my gosh, California. And so I threw some clothes in my car and I drove here with my mom and landed in Hemet.
Welcome to California.
I think it was 118 the day I got here. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Yeah, it was frightening.
But you were on a cattle farm?
Cattle ranch. Yeah. I grew up on a 7,000 acre cattle ranch in Idaho. I could herd cows like no other.
Really?
That's impressive.
So now the enforcer is starting to come into play. I can get that because with cows, you got to be enforceable.
Oh, and I got some stories. City Slickers is nothing like it really is on a cattle ranch.
So have you delivered Norm the cow? And
Norm, I named mine Barney because my dad was like, name him either Steak or, and I'm like,
Ribeye.
what? Yeah, and he's like, so when people ask you what you're eating, you just say steak.
Oh.
And I was like, that's horrible. What do you mean we're gonna eat them? So yeah, I don't know where I was kind of going with that story, but yeah, I grew up on a cattle ranch, and so even at night we would have, obviously we have ranch hands, but sometimes our ranch hands would be gone for the day. My dad would come wake up my brother and I, and we'd have to go help deliver a cow because if the cow is in labor and can't push the calf out, then we're going to lose both. You don't want to lose both. And so we literally, there was this big old huge thing, and my dad would just whoop right up inside there, chains around the hooves, and we'd literally crank the calf out. If that didn't work, we got the tractor.
Nuh-uh. How
Out
exciting.
came the calf.
Not exciting at all.
Wow.
I have so many stories on what I seen growing up. It was crazy.
And
So when you
do
see
you
all these
eat
movies-
meat now?
Yep.
And you love it, huh?
I feel I could eat steak and potatoes every day. And when people are like, oh, red meat's bad for you, I'm like, what? I grew up eating it. What are you talking about?
You delivered it.
Yes.
You enforced the cow.
I didn't eat
to
the
be
one that we
birthed.
delivered because chances of that was dead. If mama couldn't push it out, then it was no bueno.
Oh.
So that's why we'd have to go to such extreme to get the calf out, because then you'd lose the heifer as well, and you didn't want to do that.
Wow.
Expensive.
Dang.
Yeah. I have so many stories.
Well, let's get into them.
Smoking in the barn.
What?
I didn't realize till, way later in life that smoking in the barn was so stupid.
Why?
Sitting on a barn full of hay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dumb.
Is that the first time you smoked?
Yes. And the barn would be full. And we're barely up there, our heads are touching the rafters, and we're up there sneaking cigarettes. Could you imagine? I can't believe we didn't burn the place down.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure your dad would not have been happy about that one.
Oh, that's where the beer was, in the barn fridge.
I think we're starting to get a good picture of Miss Keeling here.
The enforcer. Get me another beer.
All right, so you're in Idaho, you're smoking in a barn, you're pulling cows out with tractors. So you came down here to Hemet, California.
Yeah.
And then what? You just got in real estate immediately? Is that how
No,
that
I got a
worked?
job at Mimi's Cafe like 2 days later and worked there for several years. And I think I was 21 or 22, and another server there, I believe, was also doing loans, and she just said, "You'd be so good at this. You should, come down to my office." And I did, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I would work during the day, every day. I'd actually teach aerobics. That's another story. So I'd teach aerobics at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I go to MG Mortgage, was the office. That was the name of the office. Do loans, and then I'd change and then go Mimi's Cafe, slinging, corn chowder and blueberry muffins.
Yum.
Nice. So you have quite a work ethic. I guess you have to,
Yes.
growing up on a 7,000 acre farm.
Yeah, it was instilled in me extremely young, picking rocks and doing what you had to do.
So you came here at what, 18, 19 years old?
19.
19 years old, and jumped into the lending side of things. And what year is this? Do you remember?
Like 2001, I believe.
Okay,
I moved
so
out
you've
here
been
in
around for a
90.
while.
Moved here in 99. So you can imagine when it was like turning to 2000, we thought the world was going to end, and here I'm in California. I was so scared. I was literally, my mom was like telling me to fill up my car with gas because we're from Idaho, so we really,
Y2K was coming.
Yes. I think I locked myself in the bathroom that night. I don't know what that would have done for me if it didn't, but I was scared at 19.
I remember being scared too that night. Yeah.
And then everything was fine.
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't have any money for them to take anyway because the bank did crash. So that was at 19. And then shortly after being here, my brother lost his job, I think like a few weeks. And that's where I was staying with a studio apartment. How nice is that? A studio with your brother in Hemet. And then I decided to move in with one of his friends so I could still stay here. Then I came home and he was getting moved to Hawaii. So he's either you can stay or you can go with me. Why didn't I go to Hawaii? I ended up, I was like, well, crud, here's my second chance. So I actually decided to head back home. And then I made it halfway and then came back.
You just stopped what you were doing, driving to Idaho, and you said, I'm going to come back.
Yep. Yeah. I'm like, I came here to change. Because I lived in such a small town in Idaho. And either if you stay, I feel like you
never leave.
You never leave, and you either get pregnant really young or drugs, or there's just not much. When you grow up in a town of only 700-800 people, there's not that much career opportunity.
Wow.
I didn't want to get sucked back into that, and so I turned back around, and unfortunately then I didn't have anywhere to live, so I lived on my car for a couple of weeks.
Wow, so you're homeless for a while. So very humble beginnings. Great work ethic, humble beginnings, an opportunity in lending starts, you jump at it. And then so how long did you do lending for?
I was in the lending side until the market crashed.
So 2007, 8 kind of thing?
I worked for, no need to get into all of it, but I was a loan officer and then became an account executive. I worked out in Orange County for a little bit, then went to work for BNC Mortgage. I'm sure if anybody was in it then, they knew of BNC Mortgage. We were like subprime, alt A. And yeah, I was doing really, really well. I was probably out of the house by 10 o'clock and at the gym by 3 and making, 6 figures.
Wow.
And then the market crashed.
Yeah, so how was that for you?
It was, because I worked for Lehman Brothers, so of course everybody was saying that nothing was going to happen to us, that we had the job stability, but doors were closed just the next day. Luckily, I was smart with the money that I'd made and I saved it, but then I took a year off. Why not? But so when I went to go back to work, my job was just non-existent. There weren't really positions for account executives, and if there were, the amount of money that you were making was just nothing compared to what you were making before the market crashed. So then I got my insurance license, and I also opened up my own business with walk-in bathtubs for the elderly.
She's an entrepreneur. She truly is. Yeah, brave, risk taker. Because walk-in bathtubs. I'm going to say, being 57, I'd probably buy one of those right now.
Those things are pretty awesome, though. I've seen them. They fill up fast, right? And they drain fast.
I don't know if not really. Because you have to get in there and sit while it fills up because there's the door. So I wasn't a big fan of the concept, but I guess, for the elderly, it makes more sense.
And were you still in Hemet? Because that's a great demographic.
I know. I was not in Hemet. I was out here now. I was in Murrieta. So that wasn't that long ago. And then I feel like right when I was getting ready to launch it, doing all the back end of it, I was like, what the heck I do not want to sell walk-in bathtubs. It was horrible. And then I started bartending for a little bit because all I knew was lending or restaurant industry. And so I started bartending.
Let me ask you this, because I come from a restaurant background as well, and I think it was some of the greatest training that you could do, because you have to coordinate with the public and then the kitchen staff and then the managers and then the host. It's like a real estate transaction. You're coordinating things, you're communicating, you're getting back and forth. Was that similar for your experience? Do you think that was a good training ground for you?
I think it makes you have to have like a lot of balls in the air and juggle a lot. And so I'm a very, I can multitask like no other, I feel. And even when I was a bartender, I could handle like an insane amount of tables and customers, and everybody loved me. And I kind of just had that personality like I probably do now in real estate. I'm just cut to the chase. Somebody, can I have something sweet? Some girl will come to the bar and be like, ugh, here's a shot of, gosh, something sweet. Okay, well, do you want vodka? Ooh, I don't like vodka. I'm like, oh, girl, I'll come back around when you figure it out. And I feel like I'm to the point still with real estate and negotiation.
Come back when you figure it out.
Yeah. Like if somebody comes, oh, Renee, will you take $30,000 less on your listing? Okay, well, why? Well, the market's softening. To who? Give me some facts here. Do you have some comps? Did you run some comps? Do you have something to support your argument? No. Okay, bye.
DIC?
Come at me with a case. I always tell other agents, you got to build your case.
Yeah, right.
If I'm going to look at a property and I can't find any comps that show a lower value, well, sorry, Mr. Buyer of mine, I can't find anything that really supports it. I can throw something at it, but I kind of want to build my case to say why, because I know that's what I'm going to say to another agent.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think you can come in $20,000 less?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, money's emotional, right? So sellers, when they see that lower price, like, I work 50% with listings, 50% with buyers and stuff like that. And so I know both sides of the table. And it's like, sellers don't just want to give you a $30,000, $50,000 price discount just because you asked.
Right.
Well, exactly. Really nice people. It's like, well, like you're saying, you got to have the facts. So your mind is built like that, huh?
And I don't know.
Susan's giving me that look, yeah.
Because it is. Yeah, she's good.
So how did you guys connect then?
I was actually just Joe Rodriguez. He's an agent here. And I had actually interviewed with Adam Nelson before I was getting ready to go back to work full time. So I'm like, when my daughter turns 3, I'm going to go back to work full time. And I interviewed with Adam Nelson, and I was like, no, Coldwell Banker was actually trying to recruit me. And I went there for like a second. It was a big mistake of a second. Anyway, so I was driving here, and Joe Rodriguez was on his way to his office, because this place she was just opening the doors. Everyone was just kind of moving stuff in. Sure. So I'm like, I'm going to come just peek. And I opened it, and I was just like, oh.
Angels
was like, oh my gosh, this office is so gorgeous. I felt like it just spoke to me. I'm like, this is where I need to be. And Susan was here, and I just spoke to her, and I literally went to Coldwell Banker, told them I quit, came back here, signed my license, switched it.
And so is this when you started the real estate?
No, I started doing real estate a little bit right when the market was starting to come back around, back say like 11 and 12, and I was running. There was two brokers that ran HUD. It was like Michelle Beeson, and then her name was Danielle Patrol, and she was just the wife of the owner of the real estate company, Real Estate First. And so she didn't do any real estate anyway. So they had a HUD account, Michelle and myself. Well, she did, but I ran it. So I was running the HUD account for all the HUD homes. It was like Anza and San Jacinto and Awanga and Victorville and everywhere.
Yep.
And so I was running that and still bartending at Anthony's. And then, so that's when I really started using my real estate license. And then it just got to be extremely overwhelming to run HUD with what they want. Then I had 3 situations where guys came in on me on properties. And so I was like, nope. So I quit. And then.
Like squatters?
No, I'd just be out in the middle of nowhere, and I'd be taking my photos, and I would have a guy 3 different times where guys just walked in. Luckily, one guy would lived nearby, which just came into. Each time, nothing happened.
Okay.
One time where it got a little concerning, they just walked in. Luckily, my client that was buying the property had left, saw them coming, so he turned back around. So who knows what would have, but they were 2 very large Hispanic men. So
Wow.
It was frightening. So I was like, no, this isn't worth it. The money's just not worth it. And I was so busy and making really good money. So then I quit that and then got engaged, got married, got pregnant. I got engaged, married, and pregnant in 8 months. And so then I worked from home with my daughter until she turned 3. And I was just doing referrals, a few deals here and there, nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came here in 2017. So 2018 was my first full year in real estate, 100%, no other job.
Awesome. So do you find yourself gravitating towards listings or buyers or kind of a mixture?
Lot of buyers.
Buyers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so what's kind of how do you approach your buyers? Like what's your lead generation?
I do a lot of Realtor.com, or I'm very successful when I do open houses, when I have the time for them.
Mm-hmm.
Referrals. Last year, my business was like 50-50 referral, and then Realtor.com. My clients love me.
She's easy to love.
Very lovable person.
So when I first met her and we were talking outside and she had interviewed with Adam Nelson and she was telling me that she was going to maybe be on a team, we started talking, and what a small world it is. She was actually friends with a couple that I knew and loved, Matt Holmes and Des. I'm like, what a small world. And so then when she was friends with people I loved, I was like, I want to help this girl. You need to come here and keep all your money.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that I saw in her, though, and I'll never forget it because we were out in the front door, and she was talking about everything, but her leadership skills were already there.
Yeah.
And I actually was a little bit, you're going to be on a team? Because I saw her right away wholeheartedly as a team lead and a leader. There was there's no disguising this.
Yeah.
There's no disguising. So then to see her become the top producer in the first year, and the fun of the competition of playing nice in the sandbox with the boys, but she can kick some sand in your boy's face.
I could see it.
She'll let you have it.
Yeah, she'll throw an elbow. No doubt.
Yeah, I closed one with Jimmy Mochi before he came here.
Yeah.
And he sometimes says like the questions I ask, he's like, dang, she just came at me and I'm just like, hey, you're on vacation, I can hear it. Just tell me where I need to be. Let's get you back by the beach. He's like, okay. He's like, I've never had anybody call me and ask me that. Renee he was like, I was kind of scared. He's like, I just told her everything. This is what I have. This and I.
Shakes your tree and,
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't do it with everybody.
Yeah.
There's some agents I call and I'm like, asking, they're nope. I'm like, so. But you just never know until you ask.
So what's your plan for 2019 and beyond? I mean, it seems like you're kicking off the year on a strong start. So just keeping the momentum going, or?
Yeah, I know the thing that I fail at, or maybe I don't know. I don't have a daily plan. I don't have a goal. I mean, I have goals, but I don't have a schedule that I stick to. Right. I try, like today I brought my daughter to work and I was going to kind of try to take the day off with her, and my day just completely unraveled. And, I had to call my mother-in-law to come pick her up, and my daughter was crying hysterically in the office. And then I was like, then I get all upset, like, is this really all worth it? Because my husband's very helpful, but I get my daughter ready for our daughter and get her ready for school and take her to school and pick her up from school and do all that jazz. But so just with that, I don't know. I just wake up every day and just kind of do what I got to do in real estate. I should probably have more of a plan. I just have a goal. Yeah. And I'm just probably should have a plan on how I'm going to achieve that goal, but I didn't last year, but it kind of worked out.
Can you imagine what would happen if you had a plan?
If I had a plan, exactly.
But part of your plan, you say you don't have a plan, but you show up every day.
I do.
And you answer your phone every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
that right there is huge in real estate.
Yeah. I take my phone everywhere.
Nothing better than the hot listing hits the market and then the agent won't answer their phone. The voicemail's full. Doesn't respond to texts.
Or it says don't answer. If it's on the MLS, it's active.
Yeah. Oh, love those.
Oh, gosh.
Good times.
And then you put an offer in, you scramble, and then it's pending 5 minutes later, and you're just like, why wouldn't you just answer the phone?
Yeah, just tell us this.
Just tell us that you already have 15 offers. I have this list, and then that person goes on it. I'm like, oh, your time will come.
Oh, yeah.
When I have a listing you want. Unavailable.
And that's why my motto since the beginning is play nice with people. And I learned this in the restaurant business is that if the cooks didn't like you, your food got delayed, right? But if they liked you, you brought, even if just bringing them water, they're like, Senor Pelon, which means Mr. Bald. And
oh, gorda, you hungry? And I'm like, oh, you're not gorda now, but wait, you'll put on 10 pounds working here. And I was like, They always called me Gorla all the time.
I'm sure it was a sweet sentiment.
They loved me.
Yeah.
But it's true. You got to be good with the cooks.
Yeah, and just like in real estate too. So sometimes I'll get a call from agents and they want to pick a fight with you right off the bat kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, that's no way to start a transaction, especially when you're going to be together for the next 30 to 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
but it sounds like you
had
just
one of those.
enforce it.
I did. And I called Susan. And remember that guy like a month or so ago? I don't know. I called
Was
you
he
then after.
naughty?
He was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so finally he was just sending me all these text messages and
Oh yeah.
he wouldn't put smoke detectors in the property, and then he said, if you want them in there so bad, have your buyers do it. And I'm like, it's not my buyer's responsibility to put carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in your listing. And so anyways, long story short, we kind of got into it. So I just picked the phone and called him and I said, are you trying to cancel this transaction? Do you not want to sell this house for your clients? I said, before you come at me like that, especially via text, get your facts straight. And so I went on, I explained everything to him. I said, honestly, if you would have picked up the phone 4 days ago and just asked me these questions, you could have saved a lot of headache. And then he literally instantly apologized.
Yep.
He didn't have any argument. Next thing out of his mouth was, you're right. And thank you for calling. He's all, most agents, and he just nipped it right in the butt and we closed the deal. But he thanked me. And I was like,
Enforced. Boom.
yeah.
Just get an enforced
And you
stamp.
wonder where the name came from.
All makes sense now. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, real estate agents, here's a message for you. You don't have to pick a fight with the other agent. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal.
Yeah,
We're all trying to
exactly.
win for our clients and stuff like that. Give a little bit of grace here and there on each side of it, and it goes smooth. I closed one recently, and it was a nightmare. And it's like when people are trying to almost purposely cancel the deal or, it's like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they want to pound their chest like, look, I'm being tough. It's like, you don't have to be.
I wonder that as well. I almost want to, are you just so busy? That's why you're a bad agent? Or do you have another, I don't understand, why have I sent you 15 text messages or whichever the case may be?
Right.
Why can't you respond? Why can't you call back? Why can't you, here we are day 33 and it still shows active.
Yeah.
I don't get it. There's just so many bad agents. I always say, obviously, in the restaurant business, there would be the secret shoppers,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We need that in real estate.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's a good service, actually.
Yes.
Right? We could wear wigs. I just went straight to undercover.
Yeah. Okay, I could look at it.
Somebody to hold you accountable to be actually good at your job.
Yeah. Well, that's so important. And I mean, good Lord, how many agents are just in this local area? 5,000?
Yep. Something like that.
There are 5,000 real estate agents just in the Temecula Valley area.
Yeah.
And they're all fantastic and amazing.
Mm.
No?
Oh.
Okay.
No, they're not. I am not afraid to say that.
This is why we all love Renee.
I drive a Mercedes. Don't slash my tires.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I
but
did that in
that's
high
the
school.
fun part about you is that, you lead by example. You really are genuine and authentic in what you're trying to do. You don't create enemies, animosity, and you're doing a good job. Yeah. And so I just really applaud you on that. I think you are an excellent listing agent, an excellent buyer's agent, and I think that you lead in the industry in a way that more people should do. You should be really proud of yourself, Renee Keeling.
Thanks.
You should.
I don't believe everything she says, but I'll
Yes,
take
you
it.
do. Kinda, don't you? Yes, and you're so cute.
You got the whole package, so I think the sky's the limit for you. I think you're off to an amazing start for the past few years, and now that you actually know the ropes and stuff, I think you're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I hope so.
Enforced to be reckoned with.
I hope so.
Yes.
I just need to get a little organized.
Is that she a DIC, right?
When you go
I would
in her
say so.
office, it's meticulous and
got the
everything
C.
is organized, and she's got her laptops all organized and everything. So I don't know about I don't know.
No, when I'm in there deep, working, it's just papers everywhere. I feel like, when you have that front yard where they have 5 cars and the trunk and the hood's open, it's just why?
Mm-hmm.
That's all my drawers are open. I got cords everywhere. It's why? Why? But I don't know. I just have crap everywhere. But every day I clean it all up and put it back to normal.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's my life. Somebody once said that I'm like a duck. Like I feel like it's like I look like I have it all put together, but when you really get to know me, you know my life is just like underwater, mate. I'm just like, going as fast as I can, but I'm just like sailing through like I'm cool. No. I do not have it all together.
Yeah, but I think what you think is messy is most normal people's clean.
Oh, well, that for sure.
Yeah, because your standard of excellence is pretty excellent.
I'm extremely clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dirty house is somebody's clean house, for sure.
Yes. A lot of people's. Mm-hmm. Even mine. Do we have the same cleaner?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was just there Monday.
She's really good.
Everybody's like, why? I was just at your house. Why is the cleaner coming? Your house is spotless.
Because there was dust on the baseboards. What do you mean?
I'm sure there's some dirt somewhere. Smells good at least. She could have just came in and like pine solid it. And then I would have been like, oh, my house looks great. A few vacuum lines.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have known. She probably sat inside.
Yeah.
Speaking of vacuum lines, are you the type of personality that they all have to be lined up?
No.
No, you do the...
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I do have vacuum lines on my sofas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She does those good. Shout out to Alejandra.
Yeah, now she's doing them. I still do them. I have like, that's a little like OCD. Like, you can't sit on my couch.
She's not lying.
When people come to visit you, you'll tell them you can't sit on my couch?
Well,
you don't voluntarily ever do it. It's
how long
Renee.
are you be here for? Like, if you're stopping in, do you really need to sit down?
You don't have to re-vacuum
I
it.
have to refluff it all. I'm like, can we take this party upstairs? That one's all a mess from the bulldog. My husband's like, babe, no, we're not watching football upstairs. I'm like, do you really have to sit on all the couches?
Just sit in one spot, please.
Yeah, and don't move.
Yeah, don't move.
Just like sit on the edge. Just kidding. I put it back together.
So going back to buyers, so you work with a lot of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite thing about working with the buyers there?
My favorite thing? I mean, I love looking at property.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a lot of my clients like me, so hopefully I'm doing the right thing. But I'm not just a door opener, and I walk through and I take notes on every single property. And I'm walking through, pointing things out and doing this and doing that. But I mean, I get really involved with my clients. So that's what I love, is really getting involved with them and really finding what they want and in the home that they're trying to buy, and then finding that for them. And I've had clients kind of get off the path a little bit on what they want. And I'm like, hey, are you sure? Because this is, and then I don't know. I like that. I like priding myself in really getting to know my clients and then finding them that home that they're looking for.
You're a powerful advocate for all your buyers, and it's fun to watch.
It's pretty awesome.
She is dynamic.
And so are you implementing video and stuff into your...
No.
Not yet?
It's on my list.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's a long list.
Of things that I should be doing.
Well,
so now you're here doing it.
I know.
Congratulations.
I wish you had told me last night so I'd have washed my hair.
Oh, yeah. So the audience knows. Susan's just like... you already shared with us how your day was going, and Susan's like, oh, by the way, do you want to start the first episode?
I'm like, I texted her, I'm like, could you have told me last night so I could have dressed a little nicer and washed my hair?
That's no big deal. It's only going to be seen by a few thousand people. Forever on the internet. Forever.
Forever, it's not that long.
They'll forget me. They'll die off.
Well, it's been amazing meeting you. Do you have any final thoughts or any concerns that you want to share? Stories? Anything about real estate?
No, I think we told quite a few stories. We got to save some good stuff for next time.
That's right.
Do it again.
If you want to hear the stories in person, make sure you give Renee a call. And Susan, final thoughts?
I just want to say to you that I'm thankful for everything you do and you represent. And you should be proud and continue doing it. And I just can't even imagine what your career is going to be like when you get a plan. So I say we plan something.
Yeah.
Besides the next cup of Starbucks coffee.
Yeah. That's
Plans
true.
and systems.
To you, young lady. To you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, folks, that's it for this very first episode of Signature Studio Spotlight with Miss Susan Ebert, the bald guy in the red tie, and the spotlighted agent of Renee Keeling. Thank you so much for watching. We'll check you out on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.